Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. So today, I hadn't actually planned to film this video, but because so many of you have been talking about it on my Law of Attraction group, I really felt that some faith needed to be restored here and, you know, to clarify a few things. So a couple of days ago, Francesca from Law of Attraction Changed My Life posted a video on her YouTube channel about divorcing her manifested dream husband. And it's obviously panicked, I think, a lot of people, and including myself, because obviously I watched Francesca's video when I first started my Law of Attraction journey, and, you know, her advice actually, you know, helped me manifest my dream man. So, you know, to hear, you know, such devastating news that, you know, it hasn't worked out, and, you know, that's hard enough to go through yourself, let alone share it with all your YouTube followers, is obviously devastating. And a lot of people have, I think, just given up hope and have just been like, you know, well, it hasn't worked for her, so therefore it doesn't work, and we shouldn't manifest specific